And a week later, following an earthquake in Italy, but the pain can still be felt. It led to the death of about 300 people and devastated several villages in Italy. And in today's business segment, Stefan Cunha will explain how Africa can take examples from Japan during the TICAD summit in Nairobi, Kenya.
Well, a warm welcome to this edition of the Morning Call, where you're watching us from. Earlier this week, the United Nations pointed out that youth unemployment will rise for the first time in 3 years, with the rate of unemployment in some parts of the continent, like the North, still stagnant at 29%. Now, the report has pointed out that the labor force participation in the Sub-Saharan Africa is very strong, and the enrollment of individuals, however, in learning institutions is still very low.
The rate of unemployment among the youth in developing countries is expected to increase to about 0.2 million in 2016 to reach 7.9 million unemployed youth in 2017. This is largely due to an increase of an active population. Joining us this morning is Jean-Luc Martinage of the Labour International Organization. Well, you have noticed there's an increase of an there's a rise in youth unemployment. What do you have to say about this?
Ce qui est très important, c'est que entre 2012 et 2015, après certaines années de crise, le chômage parmi les jeunes.
I think what's important is that between 2012 and 2015, after some years of crisis, youth unemployment, also consisting of the rate of unemployment, reduced between these years. So this was very good news that we have been expecting ever since. So to see a new increase of youth unemployment in 2016 is very worrying. It's more or less due to a slowdown in the growth rate in emerging countries, especially in 2015. In Latin America especially, there was recession in major countries like for example, Brazil, that was highly expected. So what do we do to ensure a slight gap between the growth and employment? So these effects of last year's recession, which have started to have the effects today on the labor market, which mostly affect the youth. I also think the youth will be pushed to the informal sector to find the jobs they can, and this risks reducing their competence, which is a loss not only for these individuals, but even on the society in general. And so it's worrying for the future.
Qui est vraiment une perte, non seulement pour ces individus, mais pour la société en général. Et donc ça, c'est inquiétant aussi pour le futur.
Well, Mr. Martinage, you have also noted in your report the quality of work also needs to match up.
Ce n'est pas juste une question de quantité de l'emploi,
This isn't just a matter of quantity of jobs, but also of quality. So it is well known that in developing countries, especially in Africa or in Asia, youth continue to work. So it's sort of unemployment. It doesn't have a meaning. So the report shows that among these young workers in the world, the emerging countries and the developing countries as well, there are more than 37% of young workers who have a job that pays them less than $3 per day. And so this figure, for example, shows that more than 2/3 are in Sub-Saharan Africa. So many people have jobs, but which are not of quality. We know very well that the issue of unemployment is not new. Can we say that other states are not doing what is required of them?
Je pense que une des choses un peu peut-être très importantes, c'est que je sais que dans le monde entier et surtout dans les pays
I think that one of the most important things is things I know around the world is that particularly in countries in crisis or in which growth is insufficient, they implement some programs to stimulate the economy. But from our point of view, it's only when we decide these programs to stimulate the economy to take into account the objectives of employment, and especially to vulnerable groups such as the youth. So do not think that as soon as there is growth, there will be employment. So it's really a different way of thinking. So yes, there'll be growth, but with jobs, decent jobs, especially for the youth. It was noted that women are certainly more affected by unemployment and certainly a bit more on poverty rates. And the evidence shows that if we can create an environment so that they can show their skills in the labor market and find a job, it can also stimulate the economy and help meet the goals of development.
Et d'aider d'atteindre les objectifs sur le développement.
That was Jean-Luc Martinage. He works with the International Labour Organization. Maybe